What's going on, everybody? I'm Dead on Dave. For those of you guys who don't know, I do a lot of frivolous videos here on YouTube: wrestling, sports, video games, nerdery, easy stuff. Nothing very difficult, nothing controversial. It's just I do what I enjoy. That doesn't mean things don't bother me. When something really gets stuck in my craw, I can't help but react to it and talk about it, and sometimes I'll make a video, and that's exactly what we're doing today. You see, I'm a Chicago native above anything else. Grew up on the south side of Chicago, right off of 103rd and Kedzie. Yes, that's a Cubs jersey. Yes, I'm a Cubs fan. Don't let that mess with you, even though I grew up on the south side. I just made the right choice. I digress. I've lived in Germany for 15 years. I was a United States Army sergeant. I was medically retired back in 2010. And just because I have lived here and out of the United States and out of Chicago doesn't mean that what is going on in my town doesn't affect me, doesn't emotionally mess me up. And that's why I'm making this video today, because I can't sit back and just be silent on this anymore. It's driving me insane. For the past 15 years, I've watched my city rip itself apart. And I can't deal with it. So what I wanted to do was make a video and talk about the numbers behind what's going on in Chicago this year with shootings and the violence, because it is staggering. It really is. It's mind-blowing when you look at the numbers. It's terrifying. And all morning I've sat here and I've been reading articles from New York Post, Chicago Sun-Times, Chicago Tribune, all kinds of places. And I'll be citing some numbers from those papers throughout the video. It blew me away, and I couldn't sit here and just be silent about it any longer. And I understand that just by making this video, I'm going to catch a lot of hatred. I'm going to catch a lot of shit. I get it. I'm white. I was in the United States Army. I live in another country. I don't live in the town anymore. I don't have that violence directly affecting me. I do have a lot of family in Chicago, and they do tell me about some of the things that happen in the neighborhood and such. And it's not good. And it does affect me. And I can have an opinion. And I can give you the numbers of what's going on. So like it or not, this is what's happening right now. Over the last year, 4,334 people have been shot in Chicago. That's one person every 2 hours. The reality is almost all of them, about 95% of them, depending on, the media outlet you're listening to, and this is from the New York Post, 95% of those have been black. Now, before you freak out and start screaming, well, how many have the police shot? Well, let me tell you, 25. 25 people of those 4,334 were shot by the police. And virtually all of them were either armed or in some type of dangerous or illegal activity. By the way, that's less than 0.6% of the number of people shot in Chicago this year. Remember that number in just a few minutes, because it's going to become more important. You see, the big reason why I'm making this video right now is because of what has happened over Christmas weekend. Christmas weekend, okay? 61 people shot in Chicago, 11 killed. 7 on Christmas Day alone. That's more than the last 3 years combined. People are killing each other in Chicago at a ridiculous rate, and it's getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand. Remember that 0.6% that I talked about a few minutes ago by the police? That how many shootings they account for? You see, that's the number that really matters, because something you might not know, since 2002, Chicago has been going through what a lot of people are calling a depolicing of the city, where a lot of activist groups like Black Lives Matter and such, who don't look at any of the numbers or care about the numbers, continue to push a false narrative about the biggest threat to Chicago black lives are the police. It's simply not true. The numbers are there. The numbers are telling you something completely different. 0.6% of the 4,334 people have been shot by cops. 25 people, 0.6%. I keep repeating that number for a reason, because it's very, very important that before you make any judgments about anything that I or other people might say, that you know the reality of what's going on. And these groups, these activists, these interest groups, Black Lives Matter and a whole bunch of others, what they're doing is they're pushing this false narrative and taking the emphasis and the onus off of what is really happening. It is people killing people for stupid, frivolous reasons. Gangbangers going unchecked because the police are not allowed to do their job anymore. It's not just happening in Chicago. It's happening throughout the entire country. We need to stop turning a blind eye to what's actually happening. We need to stop looking for blame. Police are inherently there to protect. Does it always happen that way? Of course not. Of course not. There are bad police officers just like there are bad accountants. Now, admittedly, when a police officer makes a mistake and kills somebody, the consequences are far much more severe. But it doesn't make it any less true that that is an individualized event. It doesn't speak volumes about an entire entity. It doesn't mean because one white cop kills a black gangbanger or even an innocent black person that the entire police department is racist. But that's the narrative that's being pushed, and that narrative is allowing, it's urging, it is coercing police departments to not do their job. People are not being checked. People are not being arrested. Arrests are down 28% in Chicago since 2002. I mean, no, it's unbelievable. It's absolutely insane. And we have to stop pushing these false narratives. We have to stop listening to the media that is skewering everything and making this about something that it's not. Read a little bit more about what's going on in the world around you, because the reality is 61 people being shot over Christmas weekend anywhere is unacceptable. In the United States, it's abhorrent. But in one city, it's one of the most staggering numbers I think I've ever heard when it comes to gun violence. It's unacceptable, and I'm tired of watching my city burn. So, judge the video as you want, share it if you like, but the reality is the numbers need to be out, and I hope I did a good job of portraying them. I may have rambled a little bit during this video, but I can't sit back anymore, so I may do more videos like this. I may not. It all depends. I hope you enjoyed it. Pass it along. Tell somebody the reality of what's happening. And hopefully you won't get punched in the face for it. You never know. Because those people citing peace and asking to not be violent, they're the ones who seem to get most angry when you confront them with numbers and facts and figures. That's all I got. Thanks for joining me right here on Dead on Dave Productions. We'll see you next time. Peace.